Hello, hello. Welcome. All right, I'm going live today to talk about something really important. And I'm going to be talking about how to let go of perfect and be more authentic and more effective. And we are often way more effective when we're real and not so much with perfect. So this is for you if if you beat yourself up every time you raise your voice, if you replay that, like what you should have said, um, over and over again and again. And I just want you to know that if you do that, you are not alone. So, hello, say hello in the chat. For those who don't know me, I'm Hunter Clark Fields, Mindful Mama Mentor. I help smart, thoughtful parents stay grounded and calm so they can raise smart, thoughtful kids and create connected relationships for life. I am the creator of Mindful Parenting, and I'm the author of Raising Good Humans, a mindful guide to breaking the cycle of reactive parenting and raising kind, confident kids. And I'm the host of the Mindful Mama podcast. So, welcome. Say hello in the chat. Hey, Shannon, nice to see you. So, yes, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm super happy you're here. Whether you're on the recording or live with me here, I'm super happy that you're here. And let's start by stopping. We always want to do more, right? We're going to talk about this, how we always want to do more. And a lot of times we really just need to stop as we're getting that fidgety feeling of I need to do more, I need to do more. That may be a sign that we actually need to stop. And we're going to practice that here. So I invite you to sit, maybe put both feet on the ground, rest your hands, roll the shoulders back and down, and soften or close your eyes. Now let's start with a big deep breath in and a long slow exhale. And another big deep breath in. Fill up the belly and a long slow exhale. Feel that release move down your body. Keeping your eyes softened or closed, maybe putting a hand to the heart and just breathing for a moment. There's nothing you have to do, no certain way to feel, just breathing together here. And may this be an offering of the heart from me to you, from you to me, from all of us to our families, our communities, and the world. Because as we create more peace in ourselves, we create more peace for everyone. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about how to let go of being perfect and be more effective as parents. And I'm Hunter Clark Fields. So we're going to be talking about how the problems that go along with trying to be the perfect parent, why it isn't working, what to do instead, and I'm going to give you an action step that you can take today to start to chip away at this problem. So this is, so many people are attracted to doing the work this like really great, transformative, powerful work that we do in mindful parenting, because we're feeling like we want to do more. We're feeling like we're not doing good enough, and that is the big problem in a lot of ways with the perfection problem, that we're trying to be perfect and do everything perfect and not doing anything wrong, is that the idea of not settling for less than perfection actually means nothing is ever good enough. So perfection doesn't really exist too much in the world. It just simply means that nothing is ever good enough. So sometimes we can think like that maybe it's good to be striving for perfection, to be working hard for that kind of thing. But instead of that, I invite you to think of it instead of as this desirable thing to strive for. That instead think of it as this idea of never, ever good enough. Um, and another problem with being the perfect parent is that we can't do it, striving to be the perfect parent. We can't do it. Perfection is unachievable. So it always is this never good enough. And then we're also modeling for our kids non-acceptance of ourselves, and we're modeling for our kids low self-esteem. And we're teaching our children when we're striving to be perfect that it's not okay not to be perfect. So you may think that your kids don't see that. You may think that this striving to be perfect is and do everything right. It's not hurting anyone, but actually it is um, it's teaching our kids that it's not okay not to be perfect. Um, so it doesn't work in a lot of different ways. And one of the big reasons it doesn't work is because, well, let's take a step back. Let's look at our culture, right? We many of us live in a culture. We're raised in families where anything that we didn't do that wasn't good or wasn't right or wasn't perfect wasn't accepted. And we have a culture that teaches us to constantly be striving and working, and we're always striving to do more and better, right? And we are taught that that's a really good thing, you know, to work hard, to strive to do better is like that's a good thing, right? Well, the problem is like this is where in mindfulness we actually have an attitude that we teach about non-striving, because the problem with striving is that that if we're always striving for better, we can never be accepting of what is. And we can't accept what is not, the top for ourselves or for our children. So we end up not even accepting what the imperfections in our children. And we have been trained from childhood towards achievement and goal setting. And when we're striving in a goal oriented way, it really becomes very hard to simply be in the present moment with whatever is going on. We start to say to ourselves, and now I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you hear yourself in what I'm going to say, okay? So we say to ourselves things like, if only I were, if only I were, if only I were more calm, if only I were more intelligent, if only I were a harder worker, or if only I were in better health, if only I were wealthier, then I would be okay. So put a 1 in the chat if you can relate to these thoughts kind of running through your head. If only I had done XYZ, if only I were more calm, if only I were more this, more that, then I would be okay. And I'm seeing some yeses, and then and the flip side of that is, but right now I'm not okay, right? But right now I'm not okay. So the problem with this always striving to be more and and to be right, to get everything just so, is that we can't ever be accepting of what is. We can't ever be accepting of our own imperfections. And when we can't be accepting of our own imperfections, we can't be accepting, really authentically accepting of our children's imperfections. And we can't be perfect. So you're like in this place, this impossible place where we can't accept your imperfections, but no one is perfect. You can't be perfect. It's not possible. So what do, right? And what's more, this like judgment and harsh inner voice that comes out, that judgment and that harsh inner voice, it really leaves us unable to actually grow and change. So negative self-talk and negative self-shaming doesn't make us more effective or better parents. It doesn't make us more peaceful parents. It doesn't, when we judge and are harsh to ourselves and are blaming on ourselves, it is not helping us parent. In fact, it actually does the reverse, okay? Shame leaves us feeling trapped, powerless, and isolated. And when we feel like that, we're unable to have the kind of compassionate presence that we want with our children. So I want you to just take a moment and close your eyes and just check in. And what is that voice inside like? What is that voice inside like when you are inevitably human and you make a mistake? What is that voice inside like? Now put a 2 in the chat. If that voice is kind of mean and harsh sometimes, really judgy. This is a problem that so many of us deal with. This is a problem that is, I hate to use the word pandemic, in our Western culture. Put a 2 in the chat if that voice in your head is kind of mean and judgy and harsh. And that problem with that is that mean voice, it really leaves us feeling trapped, feeling powerless, feeling isolated. Because when we are trying to grow and change and do something different, which we want to do, right? We want to accept ourselves as we are and we want to make some changes. That's okay. Like we might want to change a few things about how we parent or our habits or all kinds of different things, right? So when we do these steps to grow and change and do something different, if there's a real, and we are inevitably human, if there's a real harsh, mean inner voice inside, then you're not going to want to, like, it's going to be a hard landing. You're going to feel hurt and powerless when you want to do a new step, so if instead, like, imagine if you are trying to do something new, you're trying to change the way you communicate with your child or make a new habit, it's going to help you, and you offer yourself a soft landing, then it actually makes it more possible for you to to begin anew and start again and change and take those steps and inevitably be imperfect again. So this is what to do instead. Good enough parenting. There's a few things I want to offer you here. Good enough parenting. So this is a concept derived from the work of D.W. Winnicott, and the basic idea is to chill out a bit. We can't achieve perfect anyway. We can't achieve perfect anyway. And actually, our kids need us to fail them in all kinds of different, small, different ways throughout their childhood. Like, I'm not saying our kids need us to, we don't want to have like a damaged relationship, but we can't meet every single one of their needs. It's not realistic, and it wouldn't actually even be helpful for them. They need to see a model of a perfectly imperfect human. They need to see us take steps and then make changes and begin anew, right? They need to see all that. And they need to know that the world, that they can maybe not have every single need met in a certain situation, and they will bounce back and they'll be okay, right? They need that. So they need that sort of realism. Good enough is the best we can go for, is good enough. So we want to go for good enough, right? Also, when we're striving to be perfect, it's a little inauthentic. We're not being real because nobody's perfect. So if you're pretending to be perfect, if you're pretending that you always have the right answer, if you're pretending that you never have any difficult feelings, that's fake. And your kids see right through that. They have incredible BS meters, right? So when we allow ourselves to be imperfect, our kids see that and they trust us more. Our kids need authenticity and honesty so they can trust you. If you are pretending to be calm but you're not, they see right through that. They need us to be authentic and honest. They need us to be imperfect. And instead of that harsh inner voice, instead of that perfection, we can start to shift things bit by bit through practice. So we can start to really just take in that good enough is what we can do. That's the best we can do. We can take in that our kids need that authentic, honest voice. They need that to be able to trust us. And then we can practice. We can practice self-compassion and accepting all of our imperfections. So, we need to do this practice, right? And I want you to, and I have a practice for you. I have an action step for you to take from this. I want to start to see what your takeaways are here. But I have an action step for you to practice this week. So I want you to start to notice. I want you to notice, what does that voice inside your head sound like? What does that voice inside your head say to you when you're struggling, when you've made a mistake, when you've yelled at your kid? What does that inner voice say to you? And I want you to practice to interrupt it and offer yourself some compassion. You're here live, or you're watching this broadcast. So being here means you're clearly a good mom or dad in a lot of ways. So we have 4 stages of awareness in mindful parenting. And the first stage is completely unaware. And that means you don't know what you don't know. And you're probably unconsciously making all of these mistakes and damaging things because you don't even realize. But you're here. So you have this awareness that you're growing and developing, and you're part of the healing. So you're here. You're a good parent because you're here. So today we talked about the problem with being the perfect parent, trying to be the perfect parent, the problem with trying to strive all the time, how it leads us to never be present, right? And never to accept ourselves, which leads us to be unaccepting of our children. We talked about that negative self-talk and self-shaming. What to do instead? How to practice, how to embrace that good enough parenting, how to embrace that our kids need for authenticity, and how to practice accepting ourselves. We want to take that with us. And then that action step of noticing that voice inside your head, interrupting it, and offering yourself some compassion and remembering that you're here, right? So I want to see your takeaways in the chat. Feel free to tag me. And I want you to, of course, head on over to the Mindful Mama Tribe Facebook group. It's free to join. I'm going to post a thread there for us to take this discussion further. And you can share any questions or ha-has you might have, or any steps that you're going to take. So I'd love to see your takeaways. Check in, put them in the chat, and let's end like this. Put a hand to the heart. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. And I invite you to picture yourself as you are now, or as a 4-year-old child. And I invite you to say these words to yourself as I say them out loud. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. And may all of us in these circles are part of the healing, all of our families, may all of us be filled with loving kindness. May all of us be well. May all of us be peaceful and at ease. And may all of us be happy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, and actually I forgot to tell you. So I saw in the comment a couple happy birthdays. Thank you. Today is my birthday. And I think we should go out. We should go out with a little dance and a little music. Here we go. Feedback. All right, thank you so much for coming to this live session. It's my birthday, so I want to celebrate with you too. It's your birthday too. Thank you so much. Namaste. Bye.